All right. Hi, everyone. Sorry we're a couple minutes late. I had fun with my camera, not wanting to boot or up or whatever. But anyways, I think we're good. So welcome. Welcome to my weekly episode of Show Me How It's Done. I am your host, Lauren Urbonus with Lauren Scraplot, and I am a Canadian demonstrator. So if you have any questions, you need a catalog, or you want to order anything and you're in Canada, then let me know. I'm more than happy to help. If you're somewhere else and you don't know someone to connect to, please reach out to. I can also connect you with one of my lovely friends around the world, and we'll get you all set up. So the purpose of these videos is for me to show you a little project. I give you all the measurements so you can follow along. Those are also listed in the description on this video. So if you'd like to just watch and enjoy, then please do so, and you can always come back and either follow my directions that I give verbally, or you can have them kind of prepped and ready to go if you just want to go look at the written out description too. So if I haven't listed anything for you, or you have a question though, please let me know. I do check the comments, but I also check my inboxes too. So I just want to say though, before we start, we reached 1,000 subscribers on my channel this week, and I want to say thank you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. It means the world to me. I just get so excited whenever one of you comments saying you've loved something, or you give me a little heart, or that you share the videos. It means so much that you are tuning in and that you're actually enjoying the projects that I'm sharing. So thank you guys for being a part of this journey with me. It's been a different sort of venture for me, and it's really exciting to reach that 1,000 subscribers for me. So I'm just really excited, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So thank you for being part of that. Okay, so on to our project today. It is August, so that means we're still in the middle of our wonderful celebration promotion. That is a great time of year for you to get extra freebies when you're buying things. So right now in Canada, this is our Canadian freebie price. You can get items for free with a $60 order. That number, of course, would be different depending on where you are in the world. But today we're going to play with these Rings of Love designer series papers. So you can see the 4 colors that I've kind of been playing with all month here. And I have a couple cards to show you. We're not doing these 2 today, but these were ones that I did at a fun fold class, but using the exact same measurements that I'm going to show you today. So this was more kind of a springy card, you know, something summery or springy. You've got the adorable little birdies in the background, and then the beautiful woodwork in here. So this Rings of Love paper, it does coordinate with a stamp and bundle from our catalog called Ringed with Nature. So that's what I used, if you're wondering. You can, of course, still purchase this guy up until the end of December. The paper, however, is only a freebie, and it's only available till the end of August while supplies last. So talk to your demonstrator and get that, because you'll want to play with it here. Okay, so that was card number 1 that I shared with my Fun Fold class. And this was card number 2. This was kind of my spring ode. And this is my summery, like kind of, you know, getting a little bit more flowery and stuff like that. So exactly the same measurements and layout for this one. And then as I was looking through my paper packs, I decided I was going to move into the fall theme. So I unfortunately don't have that card anymore. I had the class a few weeks ago, and then it gave a card away. So I had a nice card using these acorns in combination with our Poppy Parade. That's this nice red paper that I used for a background. So out of these 4, what I was left with was this Christmassy kind of color combination. And I thought, hey, I have to play with that, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with it. So I'm going to use the exact same layout for today's project, but instead of going very neutral with my colors, I went a little bolder, and I threw in this yellow. And then because the yellow is so bright, of course, I end up having to put a vanilla in here to write on instead. So slight changes between my 2 samples, but hopefully as I explain this card on the right to you, you'll be able to, if you want to replicate this one on the left, kind of fill in the blanks for that, okay? But if you're wondering about something, please let me know. So this is the card on the right here that we're going to do. You will have to forgive me because I know it's the middle of summer and we're doing Christmas already, but just have a little faith. I showed you 2 projects that are not Christmassy, but Christmas sneaks up on you quicker than you think. So I had to show this because this paper pack is disappearing and I wanted to get it in. So let's get going. I'm going to move these 2 cards out of the way. They are posted on my Instagram if you want to check them out, or you can come back and watch this video again and kind of take a screenshot of them. But I'm going to get you guys started on this card here. So what you will need to start is a card base. And this card base is going to measure 5.5 by 5 3/4. And then you'll notice the measurements are very similar. You've got your 5.5 kind of on the side here and a 5 3/4 on the top. So when you line this up on your scoreboard, make sure, and I will show you, you're really funny if I messed up on my sample, hey? Okay, so you line this up on the scoreboard, make sure this is the edge that's 5 3/4 inches long, okay? You will put a score mark at 1.5, and that's gonna give you this fun little flap that we're using to open and close our card today. So it's a little fun note card, if you will. You don't have room to write a giant message, but if all else fails, you've got this open space. You could cut a piece of paper to kind of fit in there too. So just a hint, if you wanted to write more, you can write on the back, but this is more intended for you just to kind of give as a little greeting. You can write in the section that's hidden under the top and under the right, just a little like, I love you, Merry Christmas kind of wishes, okay? So continuing on, I warned you, I went a little bold with my colors. So this is my crushed curry yellow because I wanted to go with the poinsettia flower centers. You see those hiding right there? That's what I'm matching for this card. So this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put that right on the inside of my card with some double-sided tape. If you are somebody who prefers glue or seal, go ahead and use those too. So those of you who watch me weekly know I like the tape. I don't know why. I got proficient with it and it's hard to go back onto other things now. Okay, so that goes on my inside here. Now, if I was using something really gentle, like a white or ivory, or even this crumb cake, I would only need that one sheet. I wouldn't need to do another layer, but because it's kind of hard to write on yellow, I am going to cut another piece. This one is in the ivory, and this one is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So this guy, you may or may not want to do your stamping first. If you're not as confident in getting a good crisp image, then I suggest you stamp on this ahead of time. If you're somebody who's like, no, that's fine, I'll add it later, go ahead and put it in now. So I'm going to be risky and throw it in and just watch. I'll probably make a mistake as I'm stamping this time. But the beauty of not attaching it is you can easily turn it over or replace it and you don't have to pull it up. But we're living on the wild side today and I'm going to attach it so it's out of my way. Okay, here we go. There. So now we're going to work on this top little panel. The first one I like to start with is this little piece here, because once that's in place, it's really easy to put this one in kind of the remaining sections. So whatever color you picked for this background here, that's going to be the color that you're matching for both of these base layers. So for the small piece here, this is 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. And then I'll cut a piece of designer paper to go with it, 1 inch by 2 1/4. Okay, and since you're cutting, let's go ahead and just cut our other pieces so that you can just have them finished. I'll just give you the measurements. So we'll need 3 pieces. So the first piece is going to match this background. Whatever you've chose for your background is going to be your flap. So this one here is going to be 2.5 by 4. Then we're going to add this nice little colored layer, and it's tying in with that layer and that layer. Okay, so this is going to be 2.25 by 3.75. And then of course, whatever designer series paper you picked, this one's going to be 2 by 3.5. And of course, we do have the gorgeous trees on the back of this. So don't forget, if you're not ready for Christmas yet, you can easily use these trees. I thought they would pair really nicely with, let me just show you. You can either use a Night of Navy kind of in there, or if you want to go all brown, you can do that. Maybe mix a little bit of red in there too. And then the last one that I thought was really subtle with it is kind of, if you wanted to go a little lighter, do this balmy blue color. Okay, so there's a few suggestions for you to play with that one if you like the trees. Okay, so let's start attaching. Like I mentioned, I'm going to start with these teeny tiny pieces. So my designer series paper, I'm putting on with a flat adhesive. So for me, that's the tape. And I'm going to layer it onto my yellow base. Right here. Now this guy, we're going to pop up on dimensionals now, okay? So here's where we start adding a little bit of lift to our project. So turn this tiny little rectangle over and put some dimensionals on the back. And you can go ahead and attach this to your card base because we're not doing any stamping on it. So a little hint that I always like to do is just kind of hold this piece up so it's not kind of confusing you by mixing in with that white underneath. And you're going to want to make sure you've got kind of an even border on the top, the left side, and the bottom. Whatever you're left with on the right, we'll work with for the other panel. But if you can get this kind of even with a top, a bottom, and a side border, the rest is easy to work with. Okay, so just make sure that's nice and snug. This was just a really simple little piece. If you wanted to have more words or something, you can always substitute that out. Okay, now we have our 3 different size rectangles. These ones are going to be layered together like so with tape. Then we will put them on the front of the card. So I'm going to start with my designer paper, flip that over, and get that layered onto the yellow piece. 2, 3. There's one. And then on the back of the yellow, another layer of adhesive. And put this onto the green. Okay, so now our green piece, we're popping up on dimensionals as well, but you need to make sure that we don't put dimensionals on the whole thing, because if we did that and we stuck this down, our whole card would be stuck. It wouldn't open like this fun little flap does. It would simply be stuck down. You could write in this little space, and that could be a card idea if you want it. If you'd like it to lift, however, move this rectangle off and put your dimensionals in this empty space here. Okay, so make sure to just keep in mind you won't want the dimensionals right up to like a top edge or the side even. You want them kind of in the middle here, simply because you will have a little bit of a gap let me show you here. You will have a little bit of a gap on the side, in the middle, and so we just want to make sure that that's not showing a dimensional on you, okay? So take your backings off, and now this piece is perfectly cut so that if you line it up with the folded edge here, it will come right down to the edge of your white. Okay, so just make sure you're giving yourself a tiny bit of a border on the left and the right side. But apart from that, it should almost fit perfectly if you line it up to the top here, and then it will cover this space. Okay, so now the decorating, fun times. Completely up to you what you do. If you own this Christmas banners bundle, you can follow along with these next steps. I thought it was really fun to use this kind of zigzag ribbon. So I cut that one out for myself already. I stamped it on a very vanilla piece of paper using real red ink. And this is kind of how it goes. So let me move that for a second. And you can cut it out with the coordinating die. And then in the die sets, you kind of have a choice. You can stamp some of this greenery and cut it out with the little open space dies. Or there's also some detailed dies like this pine bough and these branches here that you can cut instead, so you're not having as much stamping and stuff. And I really liked these two pines, so I cut myself out 2 of those to add to my project. Okay, so I have a couple things still to stamp. Your sentiment. This is a really fun set because it has all sorts of words. You can combine them however you want. You can have Happy Christmas, Season's Greetings, Christmas Wishes, 'Tis the Season, Merry Christmas, Merry Seasons. I don't know. Whatever you want. All the stamps are individual in their little sayings. So for this one, I picked Christmas Wishes. And then for another one, I'm going to do Season's Greetings because all of them are just really fun. So I'm using my Evening Evergreen ink pad. And if you've never used these ones, they're just like a makeup compact, open straight up, and then you can kind of slide them into place. You don't need to lock it into place. But anyways, so got Seasons and just dab, 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 because these guys are super inky. And then you're gonna kind of stamp this at a bit of an angle. Sorry, I can't see. Excuse my head. There we go. Seasons. And then Greetings, same thing. Dab, dab, dab. Make sure it's facing the right way before you stamp it. If you don't have the Evening Evergreen, I did it just because it matched the color scheme. Black or even early espresso is totally fine too, okay? And then to close this, you just kind of start pulling it, and then once it reaches the edge, you can flip it over. Oh, I shouldn't have closed it. While you have your green ink open, go ahead and do any decorating you want. So I just pulled out this little leaf here, and I'm going to decorate the inside of my card with that. So flop that guy open. And I liked showing this one here, but then if you'll notice, got a little carried away, and I decided I was going to do the whole perimeter. So if you would like to write a lot, don't do any more than this. If you're thinking, hey, I'm just going to sign my name, then go ahead and do this perimeter, keeping the leaves going all the way around. You're going to see only one of them from the front, but when you open the card up, they'll be able to see all 4 of them. Okay, so that's kind of a fun little feature of this card. So close this one up, and let's attach this beautiful banner set. I'm popping this up on dimensionals. So go ahead and turn that over and add your dimensionals right in here. I just kind of clustered some in the middle. You don't need them everywhere. And you kind of want some space for these branches to tuck underneath. You don't want the dimensionals right up here because then they'll bump and you'll have to figure that out, and it's kind of a pain. So just cluster some in the middle. It will support this for you. and we're good to go. Okay, so this guy can either go at a slight angle, other angle, straight across, whatever your preference is, it's totally up to you. Okay, so when you're happy with it, then you can start adding these little branches. And I find the easiest thing to add them with is our little glue dots. You don't need adhesive all over these. So the glue dot, you simply find one on a roll. It's this tiny little dot here. If I stick my pine needle on top and just kind of pull it off, I will now have this tiny dot of glue on my, my bow. And I'm just gonna tuck it under here. Okay. And same for the other one. Going down. There we go. And here's my last branch. Whew. Sometimes they get very sticky. Come on. There we go. Okay. And there we have it. You can go crazy and you can add more little details if you'd like, but I thought this card was just really fun and somebody could kind of open it and just find themselves very amused by the uniqueness of the fold. It's kind of a little different in this part of your card there, but there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, even though I know we're getting a little Christmassy, but I had to show you because if you want this paper, you can only get it now. Another pack of paper that I thought was really cute that you could use with this kind of bundle is, we have, these are just scraps. This is from the Painted Christmas set. And so there's really cute little berries and pine cones and stuff here. I thought the pine branches would go really well here. So I'm gonna cut down some of my scraps because I'm doing some swap cards for a conference that I'm going to soon. So I'm gonna just cut this down and use those scraps, probably a different color combination, and make this exact same card for them. So there we go. All right, well, I'm gonna let you guys go. Hopefully you have fun with this card, and if you have any questions, let me know. If you're in Canada, check out my page. I have events going on every month too, where I can mail kits out across the country, and you can just follow along via a video, and then you have something in front of you to work with too. If you haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, I'd love to invite you to do so. The more the merrier, and it'd be really fun to see some of your creations if you're using this same layout too. I will see you next Tuesday at noon for our next episode. Bye!